The Dolphins stuck at pick number 21 and went defense. They drafted Chop Robinson, the edge out of Penn State, with the 21st overall selection in the NFL Draft. A lot of offense early, so I thought maybe they were going to get a better defensive player than Robinson. I don't know if that's a little bit too harsh for me right off the bat, but a very talented player, but they evidently go with a high upside pick rather than the interior and offensive line help they needed. Shout out to Jace Andrews joining me here on Dolphins Today. I am Nic Rohloff. Before we dive into this player more in depth throughout this video, help us get to 56,000 subscribers. We're near 150 away from reaching that milestone. The best NFL draft coverage around the Miami Dolphins right here on Dolphins Today. So hit that sub button. All right, the pick is in, and according to our draft expert, Tom Downey, he was the 4th-ranked edge in this class, and this top 3 group of Verse, Latu, and Turner were all off the board. Jerzon Newton was still there, the defensive tackle from Illinois, which was catching my eye a little bit more, but the 21-year-old out of Penn State. The reason why this is an intriguing pick is that he has a lot of upside. He's got good size. He's very, very athletic, but he's not very polished, and I would have thought they would have went with someone who could make more of an impact right now, as this Dolphins roster is in a win-now mode. Jace, I don't know your thoughts about that, but I'd be curious to hear.
So here's what I have to say about Chop, and I think this is the reason why they stuck with the gut at edge. You talk about Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips, both last year coming off season-ending injuries. I think there's a shot that we see Chop Robinson come in and immediately get playing time in the first couple of weeks. Now, that's where the questions come in, because if those first couple of weeks don't go well, and then Chubb comes back fully healthy, Phillips comes back fully healthy, does that immediately change the way you use him? Does he become a back burner? Does your first-round pick become a guy that you don't see for 1 or 2 years? That's where the question comes in, but I think for now, it's not a bad idea. But I agree with what you're saying. I think there is somebody better they could have gotten at 21 and then gotten an edge that could potentially just be like a fill-in guy for those few games, maybe in the later rounds.
Well, edge was definitely a position of need. Bradley Chubb dealing with injuries. He's getting older in age. Jalen Phillips coming off the torn Achilles from a year ago. You don't know if he's going to be ready for week 1. He said he will be, but it's very unclear if that is actually going to be true or not. So I understand the position of need. But if you're asking me, Dolphins fans, on why I think this is a little bit of a mistake by Chris Grier, it's because I think you could have traded back and taken Chop Robinson closer to the 26, 27 range. Now, it obviously takes 2 to tango, and there's got to be a team calling up to try to get this pick at number 21. But I just felt like there's a more impactful player in Jerzon Newton there that really would have made this roster pop a little bit more and fortified that defensive line. Like I said, I understand where Grier is coming from and why he wants to get insurance and another edge into that room alongside Chubb and Jalen Phillips. Grade the pick for me and get me your thoughts down below. Maybe you disagree. I think early grade, B-, C+. I'll have a full grades video later on the first round for Miami, but get your initial thoughts on the pick down below, A, B, C, D, or F. And while you do that, make sure you get started with the best ticketing app on the market, and that is Game Time. Spring is here, and if you want to go see a Marlins game, which power to you if you do, but you can go to the games at Lone Depot Park and get to watching with Game Time. You get to see your vantage point whenever you want. You see exactly where you're sitting, and they give you the best last-minute tickets. It could be a last-minute thing, whether it be a concert, comedy show. There's a lot going on in Miami, and if you are in that area and decide you want to go out and do something on a Friday night, the best place to do that on the last minute is Game Time, and they are offering you a perfect deal right now. $20 off when you go download Game Time, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's CHATSPORTS. When you download the app, get started with Game Time today. Last minute tickets, $20 off, lowest price. It is the best app on the market. And if you aren't sold just yet, I'll tell you one more thing. The all-in pricing that they have is phenomenal. You're not blindsided by any fees when you go to check out. You see how much the cost of the ticket actually is when you're scrolling looking for your seat. All right, let's get back to Chop Robinson and what he can do for this Dolphins roster. We mentioned the safety net that Chris Grier and this front office know they needed to get for the Jalen Phillips injury. And to me, this might tell me more about Jalen Phillips' health long-term than anything, because there was other options out there. Sure, they could have went flashy with Xavier Worthy or Brian Thomas Jr. and created the best wide receiver trio in the NFL alongside Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. But they elected to go with a guy that is in a more of a position of need. And then I hate to look in the free agency rumors already because it's the draft, but they've obviously been linked to Odell Beckham Jr. quite a bit in this offseason, and maybe they go that route to address the wide receiver 3 position. But Chop Robinson, someone who's very athletic, projects to be a high upside guy. If Chris Grier in this front office is right about him, this could be a home run pick, and I could look like a clown and be on freezing cold takes in a couple seasons, which I hope is the right case here, by the way. I just thought there was I hate to keep on going back to it. I just hate that they passed up on either Graham Barton or Jerzon Newton, because I thought they would be more impactful to this roster right away for the 2024 season. And obviously, when you look at Miami as we progress throughout this NFL draft process, they only had 6 overall picks, and 2 of them coming in the first 4 rounds. Yes, you heard that correctly. They have 1 5th-round pick, 2 6th-round picks, a 7th, and a 2nd to go alongside this first. So there isn't a ton of ammo inside the top 100 to really upgrade this roster after I'd say, disappointing 2023 NFL season, because they got off to such a hot start. We're in the fight for the AFC East Division title. You lost it to the Bills late and then go into Kansas City and get blown out in the first round of the playoffs. I just felt like you needed to really nail this pick to keep on moving forward and progress, and I'm just not so sure they did it right now. Maybe I'm a little bit of a pessimist, and if you like to be an optimist, well, tough look for me, I guess. But when we move throughout this draft, what position should the Dolphins draft next? There's a big need. There, you can go wide receiver. You can go defensive tackle. Maybe Braden Fisk out of Florida State in the 2nd round at pick 55 is someone that intrigues me. Jatavian Sanders out of Texas, the tight end, is also a good spot as well. So let me know what position the Dolphins should draft next. Get in the comment section and let me know.
There you go.
Final thoughts. I don't like the pick. I don't know if you could tell that.
Really?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell.
I did my best to try to stay positive, but also not be overly positive. And Dolphins fans, like, I want to see what you guys are saying in the comment section right now, so I'm sorry going to do it. Chase says, ignoring O-line again, ? I think it's just a stunner. Like, I thought Graham Barton was a slam dunk pick for Miami because he is a good interior offensive lineman out of Duke. He could have played right guard very easily and just replaced Robert Hunt and been a day 1 starter. I thought that was very important for them to do. Obviously, I'm going to welcome in Chop Robinson and be someone who is going to be hopefully impactful for this Dolphins roster. I just, as I'm going to keep on going back to say, I thought there was a better player out there for Miami, and evidently they don't take the guy that I would have liked them to do.